Hi, it's Travis White with the Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. One thing I've noticed in leading teams is it's hard to get a good, healthy discussion going because whoever speaks first influences all the other people who speak afterwards. So how do you get a good discussion going in a non-linear fashion? One of the things I found in working for a company that acquired another company was we had long discussions about what kind of culture we wanted in the combined company. And again, we found that those discussions were somewhat less effective than we hoped for because whoever spoke first influenced everyone who spoke later. So we developed something that we call Synchronized Discussions, and I use this a lot with my clients. And in Synchronized Discussions, we sit in a room with, in this case, employees from both of the companies that were merged together, and we set up little scenarios, little problems. And a problem might be, let's say, our colleague John is always late to meetings. What should we do about that? And then we have several different options, typically 5 or 6 different options, and these options would be written down on a piece of paper, and I as a facilitator would say, okay, John is late to meetings, here's 6 different ways we could handle that. 1, we could talk to John. 2, we could talk to the Human Resources Department. 3, we could talk to John's boss. 4, we could fire him. 5, we could have fewer meetings. 6, something else. And we would go through all the options. I would read those options. We would discuss what those options were. And then we would have little cards like this. Every employee in the room, every person in the discussion would have these 6 different cards. And we would say, now, as you think about these options, without showing other people your card, pick the card that reflects the option that you think is the right one, is the way you want us to behave, is the way you want our new combined culture to exist. And the employees would then think about the different options. Again, they have a chance to ask questions of me and of each other about the options before they had to vote. And then they would put their hands under the table and they would pick the right option. And oftentimes we would find a number of people in the discussion would have one option while several other people in the discussion would have another option. And it often broke down that way that there were 2 options that were the most popular, and then we could have a good, healthy discussion. We could say, you picked option number 2, let's discuss why you picked option number 2. You picked option number 5, let's discuss why you picked option number 5. And that way, it wasn't that one group or one option preceded the other in the sense that one speaker would influence later speakers. It was a synchronized discussion. Everybody got their opportunity to speak to their particular option, and then we would try to guide the discussion to a solution so that we would either pick one option or combine several options and say, this is the way we want our culture to work. So as you're thinking about reviewing innovations, as you're thinking about reviewing culture, as you think about reviewing behaviors and the behaviors you want to emphasize and to encourage in your company, think about using synchronized discussions. It's a good way to get people to talk about what they really believe rather than being influenced by previous speakers in the discussion. So that's the Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. See you again next week.